It'd be cool if, like, in the end, Lady will sit down, takes down the queen, and then it's like all the rich people get eaten, and that'd be like so much fun. And then it's just a flip in society. Yeah, it's like this kind of revolution in this show. But I don't think they'll still go the horror route, actually. So
I can't. I'd be very surprised, but we could ask Shonda Rhimes what she thinks.
Oh, I'll just call her. 1 second.
Yeah, but you're just on hold. We'll get back to her. She'll pick up.
Hello, how's it going? My name's Tanya. We are the Fangirl Feels podcast. We're two friends who dish about all the books, TV shows, and movies that we're obsessed with. And today I'm here with my co-host,
Olivia. My name is Olivia. Happy Friday, everyone. It will be Friday when you're listening to this. It's not Friday now.
It feels like we have a television series, like how late night, like sometimes their episodes are filmed like another day and they have to like lie about which day. We're basically like a late night talk show.
Basically, it's the same thing. Now our episodes are a little closer. We used to take a week in between recording and posting. So at least now it's only like a few days. But the amount of things that can happen in a few days, a 24-hour news cycle.
Right. Yes. And we're here to deliver the hard-hitting news that you all want to hear about. The scandals of Bridgerton.
The scandals of Bridgerton. We are Lady Whistledown, both of us. That's who we are. We should just rebrand our podcast.
Yeah. Change of plans, everyone. Lady Fangirl Feels.
Lady Fangirl Feels. Beautiful. No notes.
Thank you. I thought really hard for that branding.
I can tell. Yeah. We changed nothing else. We just name ourselves Lady Fangirl Feels. Also, I apologize if anyone could hear the cicadas roaring. Can you hear it, Tanya?
I actually can't, no.
Okay. Good. Because it is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I live in an area that is currently being destroyed by cicadas. And it is quite horrible. It is terrible.
Olivia did this terrible thing where she posted about it. It was terrible because you walk outside your house and they're just all over the tree. Ugh.
They're everywhere. That wasn't even that bad. So that was yesterday. And I thought it was bad at the time because I was like, oh my God, this morning I had to like close the blinds. I'm like, I can't, it doesn't matter that it's like 10 a.m. and I need sunlight. Like, no, we don't need that. It is the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have tryptophobia. Do you have that too?
I do.
And so when you post that, I'm like, oh, I got like a bunch of, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, like fear of like small like holes or circles and a bunch of things moving at once. Even saying it is like terrible. Yeah. And so you start to get like goosebumps when you think about it. And that's what happened when I saw that photo.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't blame you. I do too. I like, oh, they are horrible. I know that they are completely harmless and will do nothing. People eat them apparently, which is horrific. But it looks like the apocalypse outside. It really does.
That should be illegal. People are eating these.
Yeah.
I get it. Protein, but at what cost?
At what cost? I guess they're safe to eat. I don't get it. I don't know why or how, but no, thank you. I would quite literally rather die.
Right. That's a better alternative. Yeah.
Yeah. If they were the only protein on Earth, I would probably just die. So if you hear their roar throughout this conversation, I apologize in advance. They're very inconsiderate, those cicadas.
How dare they?
Yeah.
Popping up.
So rude.
Well, if Olivia survives the cicadas, she will be able to be a part of our upcoming episodes. So you all should keep listening to us because we have a lot of fun things coming up. If you haven't been paying attention, we've been doing a asynchronous read-along for the book Legendborn. And essentially, we talk about the book in 4 parts. We've already done 2 parts. Part 3 is going to be next week. And it's easy, it's digestible because we can just like read 100 pages over the course of a week as opposed to like a 500-page book at once. And so keep up with that. We actually started a Discord, which is really cool because we were wondering, like, we want you all to like communicate with us and like let us know what to talk about. And so we'll add that to our doobly-doo. But do you have like the short link really quick? Is there like a...
Let me check. Let me see. I think it might just be Fangirl Feels. I don't know. What is the short link? This is how you know we're millennials. I don't know how to do this. I'm like, Discord was not a thing growing up. I don't know what this is.
We work in tech also. It's like every time there's new tech, I'm like, I'm not going to be a part of it.
I like to think that I'm good at technology, and I am overall. But there are things like this where I'm like sometimes where I'm like, I've never seen a button in my life. I don't know. Well, just go to the link in the chat. It may just be
There you
Fangirl
go.
Fields, but otherwise,
Yeah.
just go to the link.
We'll be blasting it. By the time this episode drops, we'll be posting it all over social. So go ahead and
Yes.
follow us there, be a part of the conversation. We want to kind of use our Discord as like a book club or like show and movie watching club where you can talk to other people about the thing that you're consuming, because a lot of times you're just kind of like putting things on social media and like other people haven't seen it. So it falls on deaf ears. But I don't know if that phrase applies to this. Who knows?
I
But
think it does. I think it
okay,
does.
thank you. We're always questioning idioms here. We always got to check ourselves. So anyways, Legendborn Async read along, first 2 episodes out. The third part, Friday, May 31st. We want to record part 4 together, but we are probably going to be doing that in July so that we can garner interest. And so what I mean by together is that we're going to have like a Zoom call, Google Meets call with you, our listeners, if you want to be a part of it. Even if you haven't read the book, you'll hear spoilers, but if you just want to join in, you can come. You don't have to read it. You can just like chime in if you'd like. And then lastly, the second part of Bridgerton is going to be coming out the week of before June 21st, but the episode will drop Friday, June 21st. So stay tuned. But otherwise, what have you been into recently?
I have, again, Abbott Elementary, still watching that, really enjoying this season. It's been really fun. Legendborn, obviously. And yeah, I watched Bridgerton again, obviously, by the title. But I like, again, I'm also someone who just, I don't read and watch things a lot. I can't like tear my heart into multiple places. You know, this is how I've always described it. So I devoured Bridgerton very fast. And that's really, I haven't watched anything since. So that's basically it.
Yeah, Olivia has to have mourning periods after she watches things. That's why she takes her time with the content. So that's cool to hear that this was a quick consuming moment.
Yeah, I think 2 days, like 2 episodes in 2 days, and then you're like, what? We'll talk more about this, but it was very fast. Very fast.
Yeah. Likewise, I've only just been watching Bridgerton and then I am reading Legendborn, the 2 things related to this podcast. So
Perfect.
I know, right?
I don't think there's anything else that I've been watching or reading. I need to, again, this is why we need that log. I want to create this log of like books, TV shows, something I can easily access, because I'm like, I'm sure there's something, but I forget. What did
Yeah.
I look at this week? What did I watch?
I thought about that too. I'm like, even within a week, I'm like, whoa, no idea. And I'm like thinking about all the things I've seen that like I'll just never remember. But like they're producing the stuff so fast that yeah, it's like I kind of wish that we lived in the time before streaming platforms where like we all watch the same thing. So like, okay, I got something. So we rewatched Shrek this past week and we did like last year too. It's like a yearly thing. And like James and I, my boyfriend, were like quoting the same things at the same time. Like, and in the morning, I'm making waffles. And it's that thing that we all had, like those experiences, almost like memes before memes were a thing that we all shared, but there was no social media. But it's because there were no streaming platforms, so we all like got the DVDs and watched them over and over and over again because there's nothing else on TV. Versus now with streaming platforms, there's always new content. Like we're never watching the same thing. And also there's like just things readily available if you want to enjoy yourself. Versus back then, like it was like go outside or watch Shrek, you know? So it's like I kind of miss those times. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we talked about this in a previous episode where we don't have a yeah, like everything is so is like individualized and personalized, like hyper personalized, where there's no joint culture. TikTok creates some joint culture to some extent, but it's very fleeting, like very fast. Like I don't know, and it'll be like moments or videos or like scandals, but it's not like things that everyone's watching necessarily. There's a few things, like, you know, like The Last of Us, Bridgerton is probably pretty big right now. Like there's some few things, but yeah, not a lot of like joint experiences.
I
Like,
know. And even with that, like our algorithms are so personalized that like we're not even on the same Bridgerton talks, I bet. Like we're on different sides and it's just like I just want one little feed that we all watch, like a TV channel we're all watching right now.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't actually have that many Bridgerton stuff, but I've seen a few. And I mean, I was seeing all the like Drake and like Kendrick Lamar stuff back when that was happening. That was like last week. And like
Years ago.
years ago when that
Beef.
was happening. What else? There's something else. Oh, did you see like the like Euphoria scandal with the like dark foundation? This is gonna prove that you.
No.
There you go. Okay, so
There we
never mind.
go.
I was on a separate area of TikTok. Man, like this makeup brand made black foundation, like for black women, but instead of it being like an actual foundation color that's not like that has like different undertones, it's just pure black. And that's not how skin works. That's not how skin works. It was wild. So I was
They're
seeing
like,
that for like
we're inclusive. Yeah.
basically they were like, this is our darkest skin like foundation, and we can't even find anyone that matches it. It's like I wonder why, because it's black. But man, yeah, so that just proved the point though. Sad.
I know. I bet you someone's gonna hear this and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna create another social media platform that tries to solve those problems." Stop it! No,
No more.
No more. Truly, no more.
Listen to us. No more. So if I have to think of one more social media platform, I will become my natural form as a goat herder in the woods in a remote area. Like I will just expedite that.
Abandon society. Yes. Take all your money and run. Like there's no point.
I'm done. I'm so tired of the social media platforms. In fact, we need to like reduce them, which again, I'm not that upset if TikTok goes away. I know that there are some like actual reasons why it's bad, but on like a joking mental health level, I don't mind if it goes. Please,
yeah,
let's go.
I had to go through that same like process with everyone of just like, oh man, and then you know what? Reels have been better because I can't stand TikTok shop.
Reels have been better. I 1000% stand by that now. TikTok sucks. Even today, I was scrolling through it and it was like a live, a shop. I don't even know what it was. And I'm like, I don't want to watch any of this. This is garbage now.
I don't want your mop. Please stop.
I don't want your mop. I don't want this garbage. I get this like electric shaver now. And I'm like, I don't want a shaver. I'm not going to buy like a razor off of TikTok shop. That's not happening. Leave me alone.
It's like you can find these elsewhere, which is oftentimes Amazon, which isn't a greater shop either, but still it's just like I feel like I don't want to give my money to TikTok.
No, I would actually go to Amazon instead. If there was something I really wanted, I just would go to Amazon and buy it from there. And it's the same product.
I've done it. Yeah, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, it is cheaper.
Like, okay.
I don't trust TikTok. It's so true.
I know.
And half of TikTok, yeah, to that point, is stolen. Like my artwork is stolen all over TikTok shop. Everywhere.
That's terrible.
Yeah. It's like they all just like took my pictures that I took, like my hand, and they just put the post. They're like, slow burn sticker. And it's like, that's my hand. That's mine.
Yeah.
Just stole it. Or selling it.
There's so many issues with that. So yeah, if it burns to the ground, we're okay with it, to be honest.
I really am.
Well, that was a fun tangent, but we're going to start talking about the meat and potatoes of our episode, which is Bridgerton season 3 part 1. They dropped in 2 parts, which I just wish they would just drop it all for this show. This isn't a show that I'm like desperately wanting to see the next part for, you know what I mean? But versus there are other shows that should have been dropped on a weekly basis that they didn't, like things like Shadowborn, which got canceled, which sucks. But yeah, we did just watch the 4 episodes. It dropped on Thursday, May 16th. And it was kind of easy because like a lot of these episodes, you don't really need to be paying attention. But before we dive into the specific episodes, I'll be talking a little bit about like the backstory of like how Bridgerton came to be, which is fun. I hadn't looked into it, but so Bridgerton, if in the show context, is an American historical romance TV series created by Chris Van Dusen for Netflix. It's based on a book series by Julia Quinn. It revolves around a fictional family and is set in the competitive world of an alternate Regency era. By that, they mean that people aren't racist in this world. Black people exist here. Okay, and other people of color. But it's set in London's Taun during the social season in the early 1800s, where young marriageable nobility and gentry are introduced into society. The first season debuted in December 25th, 2020, and I really think that led to a lot of its success because I don't think people would care about this if we all weren't glued to our televisions and our phones during the pandemic.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when this came out, and my mom is a big historical romance girly. Like, she's the one that got me into Pride and Prejudice and all of that growing up. So I remember watching this trailer and being like, oh, I think my mom would like this. And then quickly realizing, maybe not. This is not appropriate for her. Although we actually do watch this. We actually did watch these 4 episodes together. But fast forward through things very quickly. Like,
I was gonna ask that last scene. Okay.
We skipped because we're watching it. Because like she does like it overall. She has the same feelings about it than like as me. So they're like, we're watching it, but I'm like quick on the remote. I'm like, when do I need to fast forward?
Yeah.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
But it is true. I do think this was a benefit of the pandemic because I would never have expected something like very Regency to be this popular because it never really was before.
Yeah. I think to its credit, also they're like trying to market this to like a younger audience, and so like they'll have like an orchestra playing like in these episodes at least to a Neo song, which is silly, or like a Pitbull song, which is kind of silly, but like it works.
It does work. It is silly. It's fun. The whole thing is just silly at the end of the day, and I think they do a good job of balancing that tone to some extent. That it's not taking itself. It's taking itself seriously, but like also, yeah, being silly at the same time. I like their music choices. I think it's creative.
Yeah, it's different. Definitely sets it. It puts it in a different category than like these other shows that are about this era. So
Absolutely, yeah. And inevitably, I think another reason why this is popular is because it's like sexy, right? 100%. That's why.
so the I burn for you that whole thing. And also, like, I watched historians are saying that this isn't historically accurate, like the clothing or like there's other aspects of the town. And it's like, you know what? They know that and they're not doing. There's like a couple of characters this season that have like a full beat makeup of face. And like even the main character, Penelope, like her hair isn't supposed to be like how it is historically, but like on purpose, they're trying to appeal to us during this time.
It's a fictional world. It really is. Like it's I know it's like a fictional world in a real world setting. Like it's familiar, but it's fictional. It's like Gilmore Girls, almost. You know, like Gilmore Girls is not real. Like that's how it doesn't exist. It's not a real thing, but it's real enough that you enjoy it. Like, yeah. I think it's
just enough. Yeah.
Yeah, you can relate just enough. I think it's totally fine. No one's watching this looking for historical accuracy. Like that is not the point at all.
Yeah.
No one cares.
So I do want to just bring up really quick the author, Julia Quinn. She has a story that I think is motivational for all of us. So essentially, she had graduated from Hotchkiss School and Harvard University with a degree in art history. And during her senior year of college, she realized that she didn't know what she wanted to do. So she was like, oh, I'll just go to medical school. We've all been there. I've literally been there. After I graduated high school, I applied to the college I went to as pre-med and then changed it within the first week. So I'm like, whoa, okay, we're similar.
Wait, I actually didn't know that.
I did, yeah.
Wow.
It was what I was supposed to do. Everyone in my family is in medicine, and I was like, I'll just do the brown Indian path. And then I was like, immediately no.
Good for you for getting to not doing it right away. Good thing for like realizing. Some people take a while.
It's true. Which she kind of did. So she did.
But
essentially she realized she wanted to go to to medical school. But that required her to attend 2 additional years of college to complete like science prerequisites. And while she was doing that, she was like kind of bored with the science classes. And to occupy herself, she would start writing lighthearted Regency novels. And so a few weeks after she was accepted into medical school, she discovered that some of the books that she had published were sold at auction, which is unusual for a novice romance author, which is cool. So a lot of times I feel like when we talk about these authors, like unusual things happen, but at the end of the day, like they're putting themselves out there. I think that's important to take away. By the time she did actually go to Yale School of Medicine, intending to be a doctor, 3 of her books had been published. And after a few months of studying medicine, she dropped out. She's like, this isn't what I want to pursue. And she had her writing and her books to fall back on. So follow your dreams, kids. I think that's important to just like put stuff out there. If you have like a desire to do something out of the box, even if you're doing something else on the side, just pursue your passions. I think that's super important.
I 100% agree. Retweet. But also, I would just like to say this: she is a smart lady. She went to Harvard and was going to go to Yale Medical School. She's not your ordinary person. She's very smart. It's very impressive.
And then she wrote the show that is like a reality show. It's very shallow.
I mean, I haven't read the books, so it's hard to compare with I don't really think the books are that much deeper if I had to guess. But that is really funny that she's clearly a very intelligent person. Like, no doubt about it. Or at least contest well. You know, some people will say that like if you go to these schools, it doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. Regardless, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And she probably knew her audience. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm going to write these silly books and just put this out there. And it's like, she had
was
to
the
have known
audience.
that this was like, right. She was the audience. And I'm sure like once it started getting picked up, she was like, this is going somewhere, you know? And so
Yeah.
I think that's very cool. It is very funny that it's like opposite of what she was studying day to day.
She went to Harvard and Yale and was going to be a doctor and then end up writing, these silly Regency romance novels that are now Netflix sensations. So, you know, this girl was destined for greatness in one way or another, to be honest, it sounds like.
Yeah. Either direction, she would have been fine.
Yeah, she's totally fine.
Her plan B was being a doctor from Harvard.
Yeah.
So
Her plan B. I think she's gonna be okay. But to your point, follow your dreams, kid. It really is. Like, you're gonna put in the work and the things you actually want to do, I think. So I retweet to that.
So that brings us to the show. We're going to be talking about each episode. There were only 4, and right at the top of it, like we've kind of talked about Bridgerton in past episodes, where like we probably will never read the books. I literally will never read the books, but the show, it's entertaining in the same way that like a reality TV show is. It's kind of candy, and like I know like James, my partner, has been asking like why people like this show, because it is like it's shallow, it's dumb, and it is classist. And you kind of have to suspend all belief and ignore any thoughts. We always say this on the show: use one brain cell when you're watching this, and like don't look at it like you're going to learn something. You're not. This is just candy. Consume it for candy and then move on. You don't think about this after you've seen the show at all. Apply no thoughts.
No, don't. There's nothing to analyze here. There's nothing to understand. It is just what you see. That's all. And that's okay. There's totally nothing wrong with that. As someone who reads a lot of romanticises, this is just that. That's what this is. It's a romantasy in a real world setting. 1000%.
Yeah. So all they do is they go on walks, they dance, and they tell secrets. And that's the show. And honestly,
the dream. When my mom and I were watching this for some reason in this season especially, we noticed that a lot. We were like, are they just going to party after party? Is that all? I mean, like, I think a lot of Regency, I made this comment in like, even in Pride and Prejudice, sometimes it's like all they're doing is like playing piano and going on walks and then going to balls. Like, so that's just the nature of Regency stuff. But there was something about this season in particular. I was like, another one? Another ball? Like, you were just,
who's hosting this? No one's saying where it's at or anything.
Yeah, I was like, we just came back from one. Go sleep. Like, what are you doing?
It's so hard being, a rich aristocrat at this time. Just what are you gonna wear,
Yeah. You gotta go get a new dress. And like Cressida, that one girl, she's like, you have to wear this dress again. Like, oh my gosh, she has to wear the same dress twice.
How terrible.
How scandalous. Scandal.
The scandal.
The scandal.
So we'll start with episode 1. I'll go over like a high level overview. But so Colin is back and he had a glow up. Everyone's like admiring him. He's the hot new bachelor. Francesca Bridgerton is making her debut. Her personality is just being shy and pianos. Eloise is trying to find another bestie in Cressida because she had a falling out with Penelope last last season, where Penelope had to write about Lady Whistledown because the queen was coming, was trying to, the queen thought that Eloise was Lady Bridgerton, so she had to add Eloise to Lady Whistledown's writing. I had to look that up. I forgot that last season. But anyways, so they had the falling out. Penelope also gets a glow up because she's sick of her Cinderella-esque stepsisters who are like just mean to her, and her mom, who would only care about like getting a husband. And I get it. Their money's running low. So the Mondrick family inherits a title for their son, Earl of Kent. So a lot of these 4 episodes are spent with them like trying to figure out how to like be aristocrats. After Cressida tears Penelope's dress at a ball, Colin and her conduct a plan for Penelope to find a suitor, and Colin will help her in that process. And then the episode ends with Colin vowing to unmask the scandal of who is Lady Whistledown, and he'll say, "If I ever find her, I'll end her." And that's how that episode ends. And so I just want to get your initial thoughts on the first episode.
I totally also forgot about the Eloise drama, like what Penelope had to say. I remembered that Eloise knew that Penelope was Lady Whistledown, but I didn't remember what happened. So that is a good refresher. So she had to write about Eloise.
Yes.
What did she write about her?
The queen had thought that Eloise could be Lady Whistledown, and it was getting to the point where she was like might arrest her or something. And so like there had to be a reason. She had to write in Eloise, because why would Lady Whistledown write about herself if it was Eloise? And so she wrote about like she was found kind of like dating a person from a different class, that like assistant at like the printing place.
Right, the paper boy. I remember. Yeah. How Scandal.
I know.
Scandal. He was cute. His name was like Theo.
I think so. I love that whole like storyline. She's one of my favorite characters, Eloise.
I do like her a lot. Yeah. It's sad. My thoughts are, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this develops over time. Francesca kind of confuses me a little bit. I'm not sure what the point of her storyline is. I think she's very like cute, very sweet, relatable. She's shy, but I'm not entirely sure like who she is. Like I don't really fully understand what's going on with her to some extent. So I don't know if you have thoughts on that. I don't like, is she, I've seen like threads or like tweets where it's like she's neurodivergent or maybe autistic. And I'm like, is that what they're trying to share? Like I don't fully get it. Like what is it?
And I wish they would just say it if she is, because otherwise now it's just like she's like a meme of neurodivergent people if that's the case. And I'm like, do you want that as representation? But
yeah, I just I don't get it. I don't get it.
My initial thought was just like they're just making up Bridgerton kids at this point. Like I didn't know she existed. Did you at all? I don't.
I did, but I do agree that there's so many of them. I actually just saw a TikTok that opened a world to me. That was like they're all named in alphabetical order. So there's 8 kids and they're alphabetical order. So it goes Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca, and then there's like 2 more that are like, what's the alphabet? What's after F? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I think it's like there's like the boy and the girl, the little boy and the little girl. So that's how many kids there are. So that they're in alphabetical order. But I did know of her because the actress played they had to replace this actress, and I saw that she was recast. But there's a lot. It's very confusing. At some point when I learned that they're alphabetical order, I was like, okay, I think I have a grasp now. But previous, I was like, they are just popping up like flies. I don't know who this is. So many.
Yeah. And I'm also confused, like, is she gonna have her own season? Because like it sounds like she's finding a suitor this season. So I wonder if they're like trying to cut down. There's 8 books, everyone. If she's trying to they're trying to cut down from 8 seasons to like a couple, because like who knows, they might get canceled. I doubt they ever will, but maybe they're trying to save themselves from that.
But they need to stop taking 2 years in between each season, because at some point everyone's getting older. Like we need to stop taking 40 years between each one. It's too long.
I think the strike probably affected it, but I also agree that like Yes, like they took like it started in 2020. We're only on season 3, and it's like yes, these actors
Crazy.
probably also don't want to be attached to this forever. So
Yeah, for 8 seasons. I mean, you already have like 2 of the actors gone. You know, you had Reggae Sean Page. He ditched after season 1, and then Daphne wasn't in this season at all either. So these actors are ditching.
yeah,
To comment on Colin's glow up, he did get the glow up, but it's not the best one. I don't know if I like his whole aesthetic, if I'm honest, but I also could be clouded as we move forward. I don't know if I like him. I'm not team Colin. Spoiler, I'm not team Colin.
not in the same way that we loved Anthony. Like that was like a full-blown crush. Like this is like I feel like they're doing him a disservice. I really think they are. They're not like giving him enough like of they have just so many storylines. Like I feel like we focused a lot on Kate and Anthony last season that I like loved both of them.
Yes.
This is like I'm barely seeing them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you actually. I think that's a really great point. I don't care as much about them. Whereas like I like her sisters, like Penelope's sisters are really funny. And they're random, but like when they're on the screen, it's always funny. Like Francesca, yeah, is taking up like a big amount. I care about Eloise. It's true. There's too many. There's not just like an A plot and a B plot. There's like A, B, C, D plot. Like how many am I supposed to care about at this point?
Even the mom has like a potential like fling, and it's like
yeah,
we didn't need that.
No, we didn't.
He's very handsome, and I'm happy about it, but we didn't need it.
He is. It's true. There's too much going on that is doing him disservice. And I think just like when Colin is on screen, I'm like, I don't like you, dude.
Not a big fan. But so I did think like to move on from this episode, I did think that they got over Colin's comments really quick. I just think that they didn't dive into that. Like we didn't get an explanation for why he said like I would never court Penelope. Do you remember? I tried to like look back at like why he said that, but they got over it. And then they moved on with the plan where he's going to help her find a husband.
Yeah, because she tells him that she heard, and he's like, oh, sorry. That's cool. Yeah, that was kind of it. Like, yeah, you're right. And to me also at that point too, I was like, isn't it obvious at this point that she likes you when she's saying that? I mean, granted, even if it was not someone I was interested in dating or courting, if I heard him say that, I would still probably be offended regardless to some extent. But I feel like I would be less offended because I was like, yeah, I don't want to court you either, dude. Like if I didn't care. Yeah. But to me, I like when they had that conversation, I was like, so it's over. You guys are getting together.
This show's so funny. It's just like everyone takes like the face value as like what they're saying.
Yeah.
No one looks into it or dives deep. They're like, oh, what you're saying is accurate. Let's move on.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, I'm sorry. That was mean. That couldn't possibly mean that you actually have feelings for me too. No.
Silly. No, we're thinking too hard. That's the problem. All right. No more thoughts. We'll just be talking. Okay. Episode 2. The queen's biggest dilemma is choosing a diamond. It's so silly. Is she not running a country? Is she not doing other things? Nope. Well, I gotta find a diamond. That's the most important. People are starving in the streets. Anyways, the Mondricks move into a grand estate but are unhappy with their separate bedrooms and the out-of-style dresses that... How dare she have out-of-style dresses? That's insane. I thought that was a silly story. Like, please cut stuff out. Cut stuff out. Penelope and Colin's relationship deepens through flirting lessons to test their skills at a promenade. That's where they like walk in the park. Eloise accidentally spreads Colin and Penelope's arrangement to the ton, which sparks a scandal causing friction between Colin and Eloise. And to avoid further suspicion, Penelope writes about herself as Lady Whistledown to like draw attention away from herself, which I don't know why people... Can't you catch on? Like probably Whistledown's talking about herself. I don't know. And then lastly, Penelope's self-doubt leads her to ask Colin for a kiss, resulting in a passionate moment that suggests deeper feelings, which was a little cringe. It was a little awkward, but it does lead to like the build-up of their love throughout this episode. So
yeah, it is. When you have it written out like this, you do realize, wow, there is nothing further than like a centimeter of water. Like that's all that exists here. That's really all it is.
I like that analogy.
said it. We're just waiting in like a tiny little puddle. Like that's all we got. But
we like shows like this, but yeah, what we enjoy shows that are pools. But when it's this amount, it's like, okay, we'll enjoy it because it's a little bit hot and we're gonna soak our feet in it. But it's not anything I want for a long time.
no, not at all. Yeah, I just the flirting lessons again. This is that like trope where they're like gonna slowly fall in love, which they do, and you're like, this is silly. Just and then like I don't know if it's this episode or the next episode. It's that I think the next episode where like Colin starts to like obviously really like her. You're just like just say it. End of season.
End of season, yes.
End of season. And I don't get why they're I don't know. I don't even have any I don't have any thoughts. I got no other thoughts.
There's nothing else there. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The one thing was just that, like, I do find it strange when he's in like the whorehouse because we did see him as like a kid the previous seasons. Like I think we didn't get to see him like become a man. And I think that's what's like throwing us off too about Colin is that like they're not doing much for his personality wise, and they're not doing much for like him transitioning to like, yeah, this man.
I agree with you. Yeah, I totally forgot about the whorehouse thing. That came out of nowhere. And like I've seen people try to defend it where they're like, he was so hurt because he had like a crush on the girl last season, I think. And Lady Whistledown wrote about them. I think something happened there. Do you remember this where he like had a crush on someone or like was courting somebody last season?
Totally forget.
Well, so apparently something like that happened. And so then like so the way that people are like defending this is like, oh, he has like put up walls, to like not get hurt again, which understandable. I'm not saying a character needs to be like perfect, but I just didn't like this. Yeah, it seemed out of nowhere, and I'm like, am I supposed to be rooting for you because I don't remember why I'm rooting for you? Like this in out of context. I have no reason to root for you here. I'm confused. Like, yeah, I don't know. Very strange decision.
They're not like giving us reasons. Yeah.
No. I'm like, or at least I'm not following in this season. Like there's no follow through. And I just think he's kind of a jerk, honestly.
It's coming off that way. Yeah. Almost like a player, like, oh, courting all the ladies are into me.
Yeah, typical. Even Anthony wasn't like that.
No, that's why we loved him. He was so good.
We loved him.
I almost want to rewatch that season just for them. But okay.
It was fantastic.
So good. So episode 3. Oh my goodness, drama continues. Who would have known? Colin continues to have steamy dreams about his kiss with Penelope, which is just funny. This is like a book we'd read in like 7th grade. And that reveals his like subconscious feelings for her. He feels conflicted as Penelope engages with Lord Doubling, who's like such white bread. So boring. But he appreciates her honesty about being like the subject of gossip recently after she wrote about herself. Cressida, who's also pursuing Doubling. It leads to a little love triangle that's a little annoying, but it does lead to a rivalry between them. And the dumbest scene in this entire show happens with the hot air balloon. There's a hot air balloon exhibition, and Colin heroically saves Penelope, who would have been fine. She like tripped on a blanket to run away from the balloon. And I think even if it touched her, it would have just floated away. It was so dumb. But anyways, Devlin gets the credit, and much to Colin's frustration. Fast forward to a ball. Someone's throwing balls. We don't know who, how, where, when. But later at a ball, Penelope is candid with Devlin about her true interests for him. Violet also meets Lady Danbury's brother, who we're referencing, who's very handsome and who's visiting. But like, do we need another love story? It's like taking away from the central love story. And lastly, Benedict meets and flirts with a beautiful dowager Lady Tilly Arnold, whom he pursues for casual intimacy. So right away, my thoughts, seeing that balloon scene, it's like so dumb and silly. It reminded me of like a lot of like Indian dramas, a lot of soap operas. I heard like Korean dramas are this way too, where it's like the silliest thing happens and everything like is so dramatic. It's in slow motion. There's like music. There's a scene in like an Indian soap opera that's super popular where like a mom slaps her daughter and the daughter like goes and spins. And as she's spinning away, she wraps her head in like a window curtain and like almost dies. Almost dies. It's just like, this is as dumb as that.
I think I've actually seen this clip like on TikTok before. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the entire time I was watching this balloon scene, I was like, Penelope can get up and move. And yeah, and it's a balloon. So it might like hit her slightly, but like it's gonna be okay. I agree. It was the silliest thing. And I love these moments. I'm a sucker for the like heroic saves, right? Like I'm just a girl. But do it right. Like I don't like this. I think season 2, like Kate falls off her horse or something. And like that was cute. That was like, yes, real dangers. Love that. More, please. This was silly. Yeah. So silly.
There's so much they could have done. I don't know why. The writer's room that day, they were just bored. They had no inspo.
Yeah, why the balloon? It's so like I maybe I would have believed it more. Like, what if they were on the balloon and the balloon starts to like fly away? There could have been like real things. Like, why was this the decision that was made? I don't know.
That would be cute. Like, and the three of them, like
Yeah.
calling on their two with them, and then like, but they're tipping over. Oh no, oh
Yeah,
man,
there could
that
have
would
been
be good.
something cute. Like that could have worked. I would have liked that. Yeah, this was worse than the B scene. And I notoriously hated the B scene too from last season. I really didn't like it. Very
It's so
strange.
silly.
Yeah. It's like it's a bee. I get that like their dad died from a bee sting, which I also think weird decision. I guess I recognize allergies exist, but I don't know. Weird decision in literature.
I know.
It's a weird decision.
There were like actual like illnesses that like would have been better in this scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, than a bee allergy.
It's just it's just bizarre. That's like I guess the best word for it. And this would be bizarre too. This just bizarre.
Yeah.
Very weird.
I'm so curious how much of this is in the books. I'm curious, like anyone who's read them, please tell us. We're never gonna read them. So
yeah. Let us know if this balloon scene was in the books. And if it was, maybe we could have taken some creative license and done something else. Call me up next time. I'll help.
Please, that would be so much fun.
It would be. I could easily think of so many scenarios for this. Like again, I love these moments in the shows. Like I'm all for it. I can think of a real one for you. Like I'll help you out.
All right, so we're already on episode 4. So much has happened, you all. So much walking and talking and dancing. We enjoyed watching this show. I just want you all to know, like it's a fun ride, and I will continue watching all potentially 8 seasons. So
yeah, don't take our criticism as like hate. I think people who get it get it. It's not like we're the girlies. Like we are the audience for this. We also just like also recognize it for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candy.
Yeah.
So episode 4, the last episode for this part, Colin continues to deny his feelings for Penelope, while his brother continues sensual encounters with the widowed Lady Arnold. The mysterious guest that they keep referencing, Lord Kilmartin, who does kind of come out of nowhere, an earl. He's the gentleman that Francesca shares like comfortable silence with. Again, we just think that they're supposed to represent like neurodivergent humans, but it's a little bit odd. They like meet each other and they just like stare at a wall. So Penelope later enjoys a visit to a large library where Devling's at, and he appreciates her intellectual interests. Despite their compatibility, Penelope keeps glancing at Colin. I think those are cute. I think they do a good job of like the glances and the stares. Devling is interested in proposing, but senses there might be distractions that Penelope has. And meanwhile, Colin realizes his affection for Penelope after feeling uninterested in other women's company. So this all culminates to like this final ball, this scene. Where is it hosted? Who knows? At a ball, Penelope is dancing with Devling, but is interrupted by Colin, who warns her against marrying Devlin without giving like any solid reasons. And then Devlin kind of like decides to move on from Penelope, decides not to propose, and this leads to a confrontation between Penelope and her mother, Portia. Colin confesses his feelings to Penelope, leading to a passionate moment and his declaration for their engagement to his family in a carriage with a really hot and steamy scene.
I know you said that Lord Debling was white bread, and he is, but I liked him more overall than Colin to some extent until the moment where he's like, I won't actually love you, but like we'll do well, you know. I didn't like that. Um but him being suddenly like refusing to propose to her because she looks out at the Bridgerton household, I found kind of weird. Also, another one of those moments where I'm like, that I mean, her best friend lived there. Like we can have a conversation. Like, why do you jump to I guess because he knows about the scandal between them. Like, but I don't know, you also admitted that you don't love her. So like why do you care? Like, I don't know. I just there was a disconnect in that storyline for me.
Yeah, and it was really quick decision making. It's again that like everyone just takes what they're told at face value and
Yes.
like doesn't question it. They don't go into deeper discussion, and like they can be easily swayed with like one discussion or one instance. And it's like, no, humans discuss stuff. That's okay.
Yeah.
So I thought
Agreed.
also I agree with what you're saying that like he's more likable than Colin in a lot of ways, and it's because like I can't name anything that Colin likes. Like I can't name his interests other than like traveling, versus like we learned about Lord Dublin's like interests, and he did kind of play like a Darcy-esque character where he's like a little mysterious in a way. But we learned he likes books, traveling, things like that, and nature. Versus I can't say
Yeah.
the same for Colin. Yeah.
I don't know any of Colin's interests except that he doesn't recognize that his best friend loves him from like 2 feet away, not even 2 feet away. Clearly likes her too, but like for some reason refuses to admit it. I don't really get why. I'm totally okay with these being facts. I am just not following why. Like tell me why. I need to understand him more because I don't get it. I don't get him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree that proposal from him came very fast. The whole steamy scene, very fast. I was like, we're on episode 4. Then like I guess the rest of the season, I know we'll talk about our predictions, but I was just like, whoa, I didn't expect them to get together that quickly at all.
Yeah, let's get into the predictions. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I agree. I think that like came they hooked up once. This is all a surprise to Penelope happening in a car scene within like what 15 minutes, and then like she was going to marry another man is now like hooking up with her crush, and then he's like, I want to marry you. This seems like I would think something's wrong. Like he's manipulating me in some way. This is happening too fast. He's an F boy. He's like a player. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
something's wrong.
I think that means the rest of the season, the next 4 episodes are going to be about Lady Whistledown, I would imagine. Because they kind of hinted at that Colin wants to like catch Lady Whistledown. So that's going to be most likely the next like plot point. But I don't know. I kind of wish that those things were happening a little bit more simultaneously. I don't know if I like that they're going to get engaged and then now we add the Lady Whistledown plot. I kind of wish there was like more to it. Again, like I don't have a solution, but I feel like I would personally enjoy different writing decisions here. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I agree. Feels rushed and like the focus is on too many things.
There's so much. And yeah, to like the point of like Francesca and her, yeah, Lord Kilmartin, they're cute. But yeah, to the earlier point, I'm not sure what they're trying to do with them. I'm not entirely sure what the point is. Like,
I was just gonna say, like, I agree, like maybe she gets married this season, and then also like I think Benedict is the next person to be married. So like, and I don't think it's to Lady Arnold. I think like he realizes like, oh, I need someone who actually likes my personality. But I don't know.
yeah, I don't think it is to this. He's had like a different lover every season, so I don't think. But I am excited for his season because I like him. He's also a fuckboy, but I don't know, a little bit more likable. I'm not sure.
They've given him some depth. Like they've introduced us to his like he was the artist. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and I think that's why like got to know him a little bit. Like versus Colin, barely any.
yeah, and
Barely.
he's just
Yeah.
treating the main, like, we're always going to be on, at least to me, I'm always going to be on the lead lady's side. Like, I'm always going to lean that way. Because, like, we always talk about how in these books or movies, they're kind of self-inserts. Even if you don't relate to them, like, you are meant to be that character. Like, they're the main character. So you're meant to kind of be associated with them. So Colin has only kind of treated her badly. So I don't care about him. I don't know. Or I don't like him. I say this and I know that that's not always true in stories, but
It's
in this
okay. That's how you feel for this one.
yeah, in this context, he's just not doing it for me. I don't really like him. But
I know that by the end of it, I probably will like him. I know that I will probably like him more because I did like that scene, like the steamy scene in the carriage. Like I did feel like, oh, okay, like it takes a lot for someone to like do something that abrupt, like he was thinking about for a couple days. I don't know the time span on this. So like I'm starting to like him more than I did like when we first saw him in this season.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true. I do like that he finally proposed because that's what we want. Like that is the point. I'll just be interested to see how it goes from him learning that she's Lady Whistledown. Like what will happen?
Yes, that's like true drama that like is great. Actually, the Lady Whistledown part of this whole thing is so good. They need to hone on that more. That's why I'm watching this.
I agree. It is the most interesting part of the whole thing. And that like now a few people know and it is interesting. Like it is like legitimate drama. And when they were talking when like Penelope's family is talking about like how they need to have an heir for their fortune. And I mean, as they were talking about that, I was like, Penelope is making a fortune. Like she is her own. At least I think she is. I guess they don't really talk about how much money she's making, but it's like girl can provide for herself. Like she found her own business.
Oh my god, what if it ends with her not with him? I don't know.
Probably maybe she's gonna I don't know.
But like
that would be interesting. Maybe they'll play a part into that though, because like she is to some extent self-sustaining, but it's a secret. So I don't know how that works. They haven't talked about that at all. Yeah.
Wow. I just want her and Eloise to like be besties who move away from the society forever. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. I know it is kind of disappointing that I think all of them do find it's not disappointing, but it is a little bit of just like they all find love. Okay. That's not real life, but like must be nice, I guess. It's fantasy. It's a fiction.
Right. It's a little annoying. Yeah.
It's like that's the end game at the end. It's just marriage.
It'd be cool if like in the end Lady Whistledown takes down the queen and then it's like all the rich people get eaten and that'd be like so much fun and then it's just a flip in society. Yeah, it's like this kind of revolution in the show. But I don't think they'll still go the horror route actually, so
I can't. I'd be very surprised, but we could ask Shonda Rhimes what she thinks.
Oh, I'll just call her. 1 second.
Yeah. But you're just on hold. We'll get back to her. She'll pick up at some point.
Eventually.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Fangirl Feels podcast. We hope you enjoy it. We have, again, to repeat, a few episodes coming up. We have our Legendborn Async read-along. Part 3 is next Friday, May 31st. Part 4 will be, it sounds like sometime in July. We originally had it scheduled for June 3rd. But we may push that off till July. So let us know if you want to be there for a live show of the part 4 of Legendborn and our read along. We'll also be back with part 2 of Bridgerton. So this episode again, repeated for part 2 to see if our predictions are correct. Again, we have not read the books. I've only seen a few spoilers on TikTok, but nothing else. So we're both kind of blind to this, so we're gonna see what happens. We're just going in on vibes.
Just vibes, no thoughts. Yeah,
just vibes, no thoughts. But we'll be back with that episode on June 21st. But until then, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at fangirlfeelspod. Leave us an email with a question or comment at fangirlfeelspod@gmail.com, and follow us on Discord. We'll post the link below as well. Chat with us. But we'll be back next week. Until then, bye. I need to get better at singing.
Same.